Welcome, everybody. We are back with our 14th podcast, and this time we are talking about why remembering the authentic feminine force is important for as well women as men. Why that is, in the way we look at it, is that the authentic feminine force is rising with everything what is happening right now in the world, everything what is happening with Mother Earth and also with ourselves, for that, because we are children of Mother Earth, is that this feminine force is rising. And this feminine force is for a thousand years is suppressed, is made something wrong, even made bad, and for that, that has to do with the people in power, the patriarchal system that came up, because the feminine force is such an important force by the creation of everything, that those patriarchal systems needed the feminine force to go away or become low, because otherwise their system could not survive. But for more than a few thousand of years, this system is already there. And therefore it's very difficult for us to see what the authentic feminine and the authentic masculine is. And it's still alive, it's still there, but we need to remember it. And both men and both women have feminine, the authentic feminine and the authentic masculine inside of us. And um, um, the authentic feminine, the rising of it, you see it already a little bit. Many women, they it's easier for the women to connect with it a little bit earlier than men, because the authentic feminine lives a little more in women than in men, and therefore many women are already connecting more with it. Some unconscious, some conscious, but it's also, you see also that men are already connected with it, because it's easier for men to become emotional. It's in these times, it's not strange anymore, or not. You almost have to look away. When I was young, when a man was crying, you don't see that. But now it becomes more easier and also more normal for men also to show their emotion, show what they're really feeling. So that is the feminine. That's a part of the feminine part in those men. Robin, do you want to?
Yes. I would like to maybe add a little bit of maybe an illustration, another layer on, maybe provide a little bit of a visual on authentic masculine, authentic feminine. We are talking about the first two primary forces of creation, and that the has we're not talking of gender or sex. We are talking the first primal forces, and also that it's not a conspiracy of conscious masculinity trying to stomp down femininity. It really is not the kind of conspiracy theory that you see out on social media. There's natural cycles of creation, and if you go to the very, very beginning of things, and out of the womb is a masculine force is going to be a straight forward, like an arrow shot through the dark. It's this straight, fast moving force. Whereas the feminine is more of a wave, a meandering, slower vibration. So when they meet, it will come together, and because of the difference of speed, that's what creates the spiral of creation, and there will be this eternal dance of the masculine and the feminine, and we flip-flop. We are on eras of the masculine force is on the rise. We just made the switch to now we're over here. Now it's the feminine force is on the rise. And for that, the patriarchy was set into place in response to those energies of a natural cycle of masculine expression and feminine expression. And if we can look back in history, we will see um, we'll see patterns. We'll see the patterns of there was the masculine force was dominant, and then you'll hear of the matriarchs and stuff when you look at the mythologies in cultures, and you can identify where we flip flop. And so this is not a battle; it's a cosmic dance. It's not a battle between the masculine and the feminine forces. It's a cosmic union, and it's just a natural part of the cycle where we have chosen to be alive where we currently are in humanity's journey is we are just switching to where the divine feminine is on the rise. The cosmic mother forces, authentic feminine, divine feminine, those are all the same things. Clementine?
Yes, and what Robin just said, to go on with it, is the way we've talked about it before, and that what the most people call God is what we call the original sun. And this original sun is represented by cosmic father of time, cosmic mother of space. And from there on, all that is the authentic. And there comes the authentic part of where we are talking about. We are not talking about what you have learned how a man should be. That's not authentic. That's hurt. There is uh, when what I said in the beginning, that for thousands and thousands years back, that patriarchal system already started. So in our lifetime, and in that from our parents and grandparents, the feminine and the masculine balance has always been out of balance. And so we haven't have healthy examples from how a man should be or how a woman should be. And therefore, there is so much pain also. But going a step back, so the cosmic father of time is what Robin was telling, like the arrow energy, and where we talked also before already, time is not a linear, time is a spiral, a slowly going cycle that going upward. And cosmic mother of space is that a woman stays easier on the space, in and that space. I see when I'm looking at the space, I see always a mother with their children. That and the mother lives in that space. That the mother feels everything what's happening inside that space with the children, although they're saying nothing, the mother still knows what's happening in that space, because that is her authentic self. And what I talked before is about the balance, and there is the big problem. There is almost nobody of us that our authentic feminine part and our authentic masculine part is in balance. And because of that, there are so many problems. Apart, also what I said, we don't have the right examples because it didn't exist in our life, not from our parents, not from our grandparents. So seeing people who have that authentic feminine and authentic masculine imbalance, we didn't have. And also because of that patriarchal system was a suppression system, was a system where the feminine got suppressed and got hurt and got um, um, spoken dirty. When those women spoke out and even spoke the truth, they were hanged. And so there is a lot of pain in the authentic feminine from those thousands of years suppression. But the same is also true for the authentic masculine, because you, as a man, you had to confirm by rules what probably weren't yours. But when they were not, when you had to do things that didn't fit in your system, or for the most men, you were part of the suppression system, and not every man was happy to do that. And and uh, when you go further down the road, like for instance our grandparents and our parents, how then the masculine and the feminine worked together. This sentence is not true. Well, it was not working together. It is working for such a long time against each other. And that all has to do with the balance between the feminine and the masculine part of every person itself. But it needs to be healed. And it needs to be healed on that original level, on the ground level, on the 0 point level, the authentic feminine and the authentic masculine. So the original energy, there we have to go back. And everybody, man or woman, have to go back to that point and look for their own authentic feminine and masculine. In both men and women, those two forces are very much alive, but needs to be remembered. It is not dead, it's not gone, but it needs to be remembered inside of you. And the way you are is only yours. So what I'm trying to say is, to find yourself, you have to look inside. And the example from a woman or a man outside of you, it's not you. It's just an example of somebody else, but it has nothing to do with you. Robin?
As in, you mean like if we see someone that we consider to be an empowered feminine and we want to be like that? Is this what you're saying? Yeah. Um,
It depends on what you mean with empowered. And I hear in my ears, I hear empowered as a good force, but I hear it also as a not good force.
same. And I think when we look out of ourselves, as in, I want to be like her, him, that is not the best approach. You want to go within, and I think a key for that is to understand that we are not attempting to change or anything out here. We are looking for the inner connection and the remembering of your authentic, which is different for every single person. Every single person has their own, and you'll have your own journey. And I think a good place to start is that what is out here is also in here. And we hear this all the time. Mirror. It is a mirror of what is the outer world is the mirror of your inner world. All of our relationships will be a mirror or a guidepost, if you will, of where you are internally. And if you can use your relationships and look at them honestly and see, perhaps this is where I'm projecting my masculine, and you want to look at, is it your true masculinity that you're projecting, or is it what you've internalized from the patriarchy and you think that is your masculine? So you got to feel your masculine, feel your feminine. That's where you go. And I think maybe a key to start with that might help your journey is to revisit your growth, what you put into place as you defined who you were, and identify what parts of yourself did you suppress or change in order to please or fit in or go forward or become successful, whatever your journey was. But what parts of yourself did you compromise? That's a good way to look at it. What parts of yourself did you compromise in order to get where you are today? And you'll feel, when you're expressing your feminine or masculine in a way that is not authentically your own, it really doesn't feel comfortable. It's like you've gotten used to it because, again, like we always talk about, that security blanket, but your body will not be comfortable with it. You'll have physical sensations, and you can follow those. And I think if you're looking, out, and you want to search up your social media help, whatever you look for help, we get into a lot of binary thinking. It's either this or that. It's either this, the masculine is this, feminine is that. And I would like to steer away from that and realize that both exist on a spectrum, and from day to day and from situation to situation, that is not exactly, I'm just not always going to be in the same place. Like some situations I'll come in and I'm really comfortable just being my full authentic self, just running around smelling flowers and talking to trees. And you can't do that when I'm at work, So I bring a different balance of my masculine and feminine to each situation. I wake up each day in a different place. I don't wake up every morning feeling good and happy and balanced and ready to go. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
With a different place, she doesn't mean in a different house or in different apartment. She means a different place inside of her.
Thanks. That's true. Thanks for that clarification. So, there's certain situations, if I'm getting up and I have one of my scheduled walking tours to go, I have a walk in nature to look forward to, where I'm just bringing someone on the trip to say, look at all this beautiful magic out here in nature. I will approach that so very, very differently than I need to get up and go to work today. And one is a very, very, for me, a very authentic feminine is in the lead, and the other authentic masculine is in the lead. Because when I go to work, it's scheduled, it's consistent. There's expectations can just all the way through the day, this, stick to the schedule, make all these things happen. When I'm going, which I get paid to do both, so they're both jobs. When I'm going for the guided tours, I am completely in a different space and relating to the people I'm with in a completely, I'm meeting them from my authentic feminine being in the lead. That's more flowy. We're just roaming around, letting the walk unfold and noticing the magic. It's not a goal. We are going to start from here and we're going to go until 2.5 miles and then we're going to look here. And so that's a good illustration of how I'm trying to say you're on a spectrum and you have both all the time. I mean, in order to go for my walk, I'm going to pull on my masculine because I'm going for a walk. I have to hike and, so I think there's a different blend that there's not one final outcome of complete and perfect 50-50 balance and I'm going to stay here all the time. That is not what what how I perceive the inner mix of masculine and feminine to be. So some days I'll be 80% feminine, 20% masculine. Some days I'm 80% masculine, 20% feminine. And that's just the way the days go and it's what's expected and it's how it goes. And then when I get to have my own time, I get to define that. And my own personal time, I like to do both. I like to consciously choose, like I do Tai Chi on purpose because it is the perfect balance of masculine and feminine. There's the flow and there's the structure. And for me, my body loves that. And for somebody else, it's going to be different, but that resonates with where I sit comfortably internally. And so that's very nurturing for me. Also very strengthening.
To give another example, but also going back in the beginning again to the authentic feminine, to the cosmic father, cosmic mother, as cosmic father of time, cosmic mother of space. So the force of the authentic feminine is the creator force, is the force to, for instance, to have an idea and work out that idea. The authentic masculine is the force that put that idea in materialize it. So you see many people who have a bunch of good ideas, but they are never materialized. So they are way too much in that feminine force, and they don't use their masculine force for that part. So the feminine force is, for instance, seed that is still in the soil, that needs the soil to sprout, but it's the masculine force that put it in the light. So then it can grow towards the light, and it becomes a plant. So in other words, what many women don't like to hear, but this is the truth, the masculine force is light. The feminine force is darkness, is the shadow. And it is that balance between dark and light, between day and night. So that it should be a balance. It should be a dance from those two in one human body. That is the balance. Put your ideas. What, for instance, many men also do, also women can do that. They have an idea, but doesn't work out the idea. They have an idea and they start doing. So that is an example from that the masculinity is working too hard, or there is not enough balance in the feminine part. And so when I'm sometimes hearing men talk about what it is to be men, then I hear so many men still confused that they need to be heroes, that they need to be machos, that they need to be those strong men and the leaders of the world. That's not your job. When you are in balance, it can be your job. It's not, but the first leaders are the women. The first leaders of the family are the women, because they are in the space. That's their specialty, to be in the space and to know what everybody is in that space. And is that your job? So everybody in your job, you know what to do. And that's way more a feminine quality, but that feminine force need a masculine force to put that all, that it is happening. And that everything what is floating there in that space, that should go out in the world. And that's so it's not, don't think in a hierarchy in the way we've learned that the boss is on the top, and those poor people who do all the work but earning nothing, and he is putting his pockets full of money. That is not what leadership is. Leadership is the feminine way for leadership is standing in between everybody. It's connecting with everybody, that where you are the leader for. So what you see now also is that many, I want to say, because let's say some women become very bossy and very bitchy, and they are even very disrespectful to men. Very disrespectful, even towards their own husband, to their own spouse, if they are married or not. And that is terrible. And that are women who are not, absolutely not in balance. They are far from a balance. What they did is they took the patriarchal system as an example and try to from out of this patriarchal system as a woman put down. So what behind that, it's the pain in the lineage that is there, and she's doing exactly back as the old patriarchal system 1,000 years and even 100 years ago did with her lineage. She is as hurtful as that patriarchal system was. So women, when you hear this and you see, you looking in your own mirror right now, please stop it. Please be gentle again. And we are not here to fight men. Absolutely not. We are equals. We are that dance. We need the men. And the men are as valuable as women are. Stop reacting out of hurt. When you want to react, come with force. Come with your power, not with your hurt. Especially towards your own man, your own husband. And I've seen even women do it towards the children. you shouldn't do that where I am close off. You will hear it. I cannot stop that. My mouth goes open and you will hear it. You get a very rough mirror in front of you, how you are reacting. That's just me. That's the way I function. I cannot stop then. So please look in your mirror and look how you are a woman. When you are bitchy, when you are disrespectful to men, and especially men in leadership, and your own, just stop with it. Just stop with it. Otherwise, I am coming. And you don't want that.
I see this, it comes in two ways that I see these, let's call them the bitchy bossy women, attacking, okay, first of all, in competition with the patriarchal masculine. And so they're adopting the very things that they're bitching about. Or then they come into a masculine person who is comfortable expressing his emotions and being gentle, and they reject that too. Then that man is a sissy and doesn't have any backbone and all these horrible things. So it's like, either way, where's the divine counterpart of this masculine for this bossy bitchy woman, right? And there isn't one, because you're so out of balance inside. You gotta go inside, and you really need to recognize that boys in this patriarchal system, they were not allowed to be authentically who they were. We don't, we, boys don't get held and cuddled as much as girls do. They need to be strong. Don't cry. You fall down, rub a little dirt in it, keep going, and if they do, there's a lot of punishment that goes with a boy hanging on to his softer side. And we need to meet that with a bit more compassion, less judgment, and absolutely not rejection. Absolutely no more rejection. This is a divine dance of balance. It is a dance of union. It is not a battle of competition. And the relationships that we have in our lives, they're there for a reason. And it's inner growth. We're not focused on what I see out there. What I see out there, I need to fix that, and that's not right, and that's not right. And what's not right is what's inside. And that is the only thing you have control over, and it's the only thing you should be looking at is what's inside. And what's inside me is not what people tell me they see when they're looking at me. This is a trick. This isn't what's inside. That's a trick. That's not what's inside. You look at me, look at Clementine. What do they say, Clementine? I like
They
your
say
explanation.
one of the two is a real woman and the other one is half a man. But
So
that
bad.
they don't see my inside.
Or mine.
And I always wondered, why don't they say she's half a woman? They always say she's half a man. and when we also look at our hair,
I think
the
that's the
length
perfect
of
one.
our hair, your femininity, I don't know if I said it right, but that doesn't live in the length of your hair. So what is important for you to do is go first inside as a human. Don't call yourself man or woman. Call yourself a human first and work and learn and awaken that authentic feminine part and that authentic masculine part inside of you. And there lives your perfect imperfection. there you are perfect with your imperfections who are perfect. And that is who you are. And from there on, you can become the woman or the man you are. And don't look, as Robin already said, outside of yourself. For instance, how often they say, this is a job for a real man or a real woman. Every real woman likes this. Not me. So that does mean when I believe those words that I am not a real woman. So when you believe all those things that the outside is saying what a woman should be or a man should be, you will not find that inside yourself. So you come even further out of balance.
Well, what's running through my mind right now is as long as you're using concepts like should, there's nothing authentic about that. That's judging yourself. And that should not be part of your internal language. So let's move away from that into more accepting and identifying and understanding you honestly are not going to know, you're not going to know yourself. It's not going to be comfortable. It really is not comfortable. And you got to dig deep. And as far as looking outside, only look as far as, oh, that is the mirror for what's happening inside. What do I need to look at? What part of that don't I like? What part of that is reflecting the part of me that I compromised to be who I currently see myself as? And what's the truth underneath that? And that never went anywhere. This is what we talked about in our shadow podcast is what is in your shadow is not always negative. It's the things that you put away because you weren't ready to do that or because you needed to put those away to survive that moment. You're not in that moment anymore. And now you're an adult and you go and you retrieve your true authentic self and I see the shadow. I see more like a guardian angel who is holding all of that stuff until you're ready to retrieve and reclaim. And all you have to do is remember. There's not a big process. It's just like, remember, like go back to when you were little. Just grab a memory. Just grab a memory from when you were little and remember how you felt in that. Like, oh my gosh, I'm getting chills right now. I used to love to lie on the grass with with and we would just look at the clouds and we'd be sitting laying there, five of us, me and Yvonne. We see all these things in the clouds. Marie sitting right there next to us, she didn't see a thing. Could not get it, but that wonderful feeling of just being me, just the internal happy. And when you just tap into that, you're remembering. That's remembering. There isn't a process to run through your mind. It's not that kind of remembering. It's in the feelings and then bring that little person forward into your day, just a little at a time, and you'll start feeling safer within yourself, and your authentic self becomes safe again, and then you feel safer again. We're describing the divine feminine and the divine masculine. You can put it out into the world. Once you feel safe, the divine feminine, you're feeling safe within yourself, and then the divine masculine puts it out into the world. It's that door. Yeah.
And that's also why I call it the perfect imperfection. The way you are born, you are perfect. And yes, when you look in the mirror or you look at television, and you see yourself differently. That are imperfections, or you can call it imperfections. But nobody is perfect. We have good parts. We have parts where we are not good in, and when you look in the mirror, you see, for instance, a reflection of something what you don't like to see that much. That are your imperfections, but it becoming so healing when you take your imperfections and even love them, and be gentle for your imperfection. Nobody is perfect, and everybody, even people from whom we think they look perfect, even they can find many imperfections on themselves. And so I'm talking now about outside, but it's also, of course, about your inside. Everybody, you are the perfect person for who you tend to be, for who your soul choose to be. For that, you are perfect. And yes, there are imperfections, but that's just to learn for you to even love them.
Love this. I love the way you say the perfect imperfection. I think we've had this conversation, I don't know if on the podcast, but between us, because that's the way you say it, and then and the way I say it is the imperfection is the perfection. If everything was balanced, there would be no movement. And life is a flow. It is about the imperfection. Imperfection is what drives life. It's an evolutionary process. And if it was all perfect, we'd be static. And so when you look in the mirror and you look inside and you feel these flaws, and I hear a lot of people talk about imposter syndrome, and this will address that, because I think a lot of us feel imposter syndrome because we are looking to become perfectly whatever it is we're looking at, and that's not ever going to happen. But that is the perfection, is that there is always an imperfection. And that's the spiral. That is the spiral. And you'll have a different perspective every time you revisit it. And if you can hold those imperfections with the love and understanding that it is indeed the perfection of your inner self, well, then maybe we'll lose some of that criticism and self-judgment and rejection. Self-rejection is horrible. And once you can hold those imperfections with love and understand that was the plan, not to overcome the imperfections, but to flow with them and embrace the imperfections. I am a slow person compared to people around me. It just is. I've spent a lifetime trying to live life at other people's speed. Now I don't care. I'll get there when I get there. This is the way my life flows. And I don't feel bad about that anymore. I don't feel less than the people around me anymore, because I simply don't function that way. It is not less than. It is not inferior in any way. It's my perfect imperfection. Is that how you say it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, yeah.
With that note, I think we are at the end of the podcast. As always, we like to hear from you. And when you have questions, have comments, please share them with us. And otherwise, we see you the next week.
See you for the next
Bye.
dance.
Okay, deal.
Yeah.